What is up, everybody? Smalltownretrogamer here. Coming at you with a pickups video. No live game hunting footage, but there's a good reason. Sunday was my birthday. I got a new phone, so that's what I'm recording on. And this phone doesn't have any of the footage on there, and I didn't feel like transferring it from this to that. All that stuff. But I have some pretty good pickups this week. On last Tuesday, I went to Bozeman, Montana, which is about 80 miles from where I live. And they have two stores, and like I said, they're good stores, so I don't mind mentioning them. New to You, Thrift and Pawn, and Snow Day Games, which is like the closest, I don't want to say real, because the game store that's here is pretty real now, but the closest to, bigger game store to me, both in Bozeman, and both are pretty good. The guy that owns Snow Day is really cool, and the people at the pawn shop are pretty cool too, so definitely if you're in the area, check them out. But we'll start with one thing that I found at thrift stores this week. Shattered Union for $2. No manual. I do believe, it's been a while since I looked these up, it was like a $5, $6 game. So nothing crazy, but for $2 I'll take it all the time. The Xbox game I didn't have and hadn't heard of. And then we'll jump into the Snow Day Games finds. Trying to remember what all I got there and what I got from the other pawn shop. And I think we got her. So, to start off, he has pretty good prices. I'd say they're around eBay. Nothing crazy, but he will work with you a little bit, which is always cool to see. So first two, the way he does his Super Nintendo and Nintendo games is they're $10 a piece for the common ones, and then 3 for $25, which a little strange, but I'm not going to complain. So these ones were not included in that deal. Goof Troop, which is, I've never played this, but I've heard it's really fun. I heard it's great on co-op, so I'm super excited to play that. And Pinocchio. And these actually ended up, after we discussed everything, ended up getting put down to $10. So that's pretty good for those two games. Both of them go for around that $10 to $15 range. Goof Troop I saw going as high as $18, but that was very rare. And then I found 3 common Super Nintendo games from them. The Incredible Crash Test Dummies, with that beautiful LJN logo on there, so you know it's good. Road Riot, kind of a off-road clone that Kevin owned at one point. Thanks for writing your name on there, Kevin. And Out to Lunch. And so those cost $25. Out to Lunch is worth that $10 to $12, $13 range. The other two are a little bit cheaper, that $5 to $8. But Super Nintendo games I didn't have, I'm always happy to pick them up for under $10. So I was pretty happy with that. And then the what was it? I'm trying to think of what his deal was. The PS1 games, if they were what he labeled as common, which was worth less than like $10 almost, because I think all these are around there, are $4 or $5 a piece, or 3 for $10. It's something like that, because I remember it was a pretty good deal. Codename Tenka, which is actually, and all these are complete, pretty fun. I played just a very little bit of this, but it was pretty good. Planet of the Apes I have not played, but it doesn't look great, but we'll check it out. And then Iron and Blood, Warriors of Ravenloft, The Dark Side of 3D Fighting, and it's a Dungeons and Dragons game. That one's complete too, and all these discs are in really good shape. So those were 3 for $10, and they're all worth, 5 to, looks like I have it down here, $8 or $9, with Planet of the Apes being the cheapest one, around $5, and then these two are around $7 or $8 games. So that is not bad at all. Take that all day long. There's some PS1s that I didn't have. Then I found a PS2 game that I've been looking for forever, but I've never been able to find out in the wild, so I had to pull the trigger on Okami. Alright guys, sorry my phone fell, so I have to edit these two videos together. But Okami, game that I have wanted for a long time, I've never seen out in the wild, and this copy is super clean, as the fluffy game would say, super minty. And I paid $20 for that, so he added everything up with the original pricing, and it was $80. Then he said, how about $75, which is right down there, which is pretty cool. Like I said, that was Snow Day Games, Bozeman, Montana, pretty cool store. And then the other store that I went to, the New to You Thrift and Pawn Shop, I also got some Super Nintendo games. Nothing amazing from here. Cliffhanger, I can't say that word right, with starring Stallone. Rise of the Robots, a horrible fighting game. And Super Slapshot. And as you can see, they had 4 written on that one, and I think 5 on both of these. Yeah. This is about what they go for, I'm trying to figure, there it is. The $4 to $5 to $6 range, so nothing crazy. And then a Might and Magic game, Dark Messiah, $4 there too. But it being a pawn shop, and the guy almost made me haggle with, I don't want to say made me, but he's like, oh, he kind of sat there and he says, well, it comes to 18, and I was like, yeah, and I was willing to pay that. And he goes, what's the best you could do? And I was kind of like, kind of thrown back, because usually if you want to haggle, you're the person that has to haggle. So I said, you know, I didn't want to lowball him too much. So I said, how about 15? He said, okay. So that wasn't too bad. Like I said, all those, you know, the $4 to $5 to $6 range, nothing crazy. And then these PS2 games are from my favorite pawn shop. I paid, if you guys can see that, the $10 for them. So not too bad. You know, then, you know, like I said, certain people there could do the 5 for 10 deal still. Some people don't. It just kind of depends which person you get. Delta Force Blackhawk Down Team Saber. This one's complete and in really great shape. Hasbro Family Game Night. Only one of the games I'll whip out when my nephews come over. We'll play this. It should be alright. And you know, this one I think was like the second most expensive out of all, like a $10 game, or 8 or 9. Alone in the Dark, which is just as horrible as I heard it was. I had to put this in. I don't want to say, if it was named something different, and it was maybe in the, I don't know what you call it, the minority here. If it was named something different, it almost wouldn't be a bad game, but it's the fact that it's, you know, Alone in the Dark. It's supposed to be a horror game, and it's not scary. It's just a bland first-person shooter, pretty much. Stolen, which is one I'm pretty excited to try. I've never heard of it, and that's any game that I've never heard of on the PS2. I'm always excited for. Not an expensive game, $4 or $5, but looks stealth adventure, or your infiltrate, steal, vanish. So pretty cool. Then the winner of this lot, even though it's in a generic case, is Fatal Frame 2. Manual's a little beat up, and the disc is not in the greatest shape. I did test it just to make sure that it works, and it did. It's in a Hollywood video case, which I don't remember any around me. I don't know if there are ones in Montana, so I'm kind of, you know, that's kind of cool. You kind of wonder where this game has been. But, you know, like a $30, $35 game. You know, the rest of the ones I got besides the game night, 4 or 5. So nothing crazy. I'll try the Delta Force one. That one looks alright. Standard first-person shooter, but, you know, not a bad week. Sorry I didn't have any live footage. It was my birthday, and I just got a little too drunk. So, sorry I didn't have any live footage for you guys. I had a little bit on this phone that I recorded I went and picked those up on Friday. But I didn't feel like putting in, 10 seconds of video and calling it a live video game hunt, and I figured I'd just do a pickup video. But the live footage will be back either next week, or next week I may actually take off because it's July 3rd. But the week after that, July 8th or whatever, usually is when it really picks up around here. So, we'll see.